changes or anything you saw that was needed to be corrected?
Nope.
No? Good for you guys. That's cool. We got the rule in new business where we changed the rule as far as the time frame and the different stuff. We got that in. I did bring a new set of rules, which I'll get you guys next week. So that was about the only thing there that I could see that we needed to do. We're going to actually kind of switch up a little thing. I have two gentlemen here that want to talk to you about. I got to get this right. Wreaths Across America. I think we'll start with that, and then we'll go into unfinished business and do the stuff so those two gentlemen can go. So if you'd like to step up, introduce yourself for me, for the crew here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bob Dockery. I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I am a past commander out here at the VFW. I'm also quite active in the American Legion here. Like I said, I retired from the Marine Corps. Gentlemen, we're kind of coming in last year. I have 3 people in the cemetery at Oakwood, and I wanted to get some wreaths to put on them, and heard about, and I don't have enough of the paperwork to go around, but heard about Wreaths Across America, and I tried to reach out to them and get cemeteries, but it was too late to get the wreaths. So this year's goal is to be able to go to Hal and somehow see if how we can get this into Kosciuszko County for Oakwood to start with, and then go from there. What I've asked up is Gary right here. He is also retired from the Army of 20 years. He runs Columbia Cities. So he's going to have some of the answers you're looking like, the logistics of what happens, how do we get them in? How do we put them on the grade? How do we get the manpower? You know, some of them answers I do have. I've talked to Daryl down at the, Veteran Servicing Officer, retired with Gary.
If I could throw in there, if you guys are familiar, he doesn't have a lot of information, but basically it's Wreaths Across America that you can get, you can purchase, and help me when I'm going to butcher this, and I'm sorry, that's why you're here. But Bob is wanting to start in this area. It's actually a thing where you can help with all these veterans and put wreaths on, but also make money to help do things in the cemetery for the veterans. So when you purchase off this Wreaths of America, you also get, I don't want to use the word kickback, but you get some of the money back that you can put in, which they're going to explain here, so they can fix veteran stones, different things throughout the community. It may not just be in Oakwood, it could be in all these little ones that nobody has time to do. But am I close, hopefully?
Just like the VFW, American Legion, we also have, they ring the bell at Christmas time. Salvation Army. Those organizations are 501(c) organizations that we could actually take if you spend $17 on a wreath. That's what it's called. There is one program in there that you get a $5 kickback on that. And that can go to them organizations to help them in the time of need. But it's really, the main goal is not so much going after the money, it's mainly, I want to be able to have the Wreaths Across America to put them on my parents and my brother-in-law, which I think we could talk to a lot more veterans and get them parents or people that have veterans as their siblings. That's what we're looking for.
Okay, we'll get started on one of those questions here.
So, my name's Gary Bird, and I am in the Whitley County Veterans Cleaning and Restoration Coordinator. So what's that mean? We have 89 cemeteries, 2,000 veterans, and my group of veterans, we go in and clean up cemeteries and restore the veterans' markers. And after putting the flags out on Memorial Day several years ago, they just quite didn't look right. And as I looked into it, there's 3 words I'm going to leave you with, and I want you to remember these. We remember, we honor, and we teach. And the teach part, obvious enough, is not just for high school kids, it's for us adults too. So I write articles about these veterans and post them on my Facebook page, what they did before they went in the military, what they did when they came home, and then that there were several that didn't come home. And there's several that have a grave marker, but they're not there. Part of this Wreaths Across America is a year-round remembering, not just Memorial Day, not just Veterans Day, all days. Honor them. Stones need to be cleaned and edged and so forth. They need to look like we appreciate their service. And then we teach. We teach them about, the wreath is made up of 13 boughs. Each one of those boughs stand for, just like the folds of a flag, some of them are very much the same way. But they're created under purpose. They are purposely put together to mean something. The circle itself means Advent of the wreath. And the red bow means the blood of the veteran who put forth. So there is meaning behind this. It's just not something you can go to Walmart and buy for a few bucks. So that's the big picture on my side, and I do all that for Whitley County, the entire county. But I will tell you, I have people from Huntington, Kosciuszko, Noble, order wreaths or sponsor wreaths. We call it sponsorship. The wreaths, because they want to get a wreath for their loved one. And that's called grave specific. So even though you've targeted a cemetery that you want to get wreaths for, there'll be others that want to get wreaths for other cemeteries. And there's a way to do that. And so it's very seamless, and I would encourage that, including the cemetery that you have targeted that you want to supply wreaths for. Now, there's no cost to you. The cost goes to the person who wants to get a wreath for their veteran. And so I would tell you, when I first started this, I just put it out there, and people started coming out of the woodwork. And usually they're relatives, and they want to buy 1, 2, 3, 4. I've had people buy 50. I have businesses that buy 75. $1,200 worth of wreaths is pretty common for businesses. So you got a lot of businesses in here in Kosciuszko County, and they would love to help you out. And a lot of it's just advertising, letting them know that you want to do this. So in a nutshell, for 17, and I suggest this because you don't have to do the 501(c)(3) thing. You could just do $17 and everybody's happy. But I needed the funds to help support the cleaning and restoration of those veterans' markers in the cemetery. So I needed a way to do that. So Wreaths Across America answered that question. And they do that by bringing back to the Community Foundation of Whitley County, and that's where my funding is, and that's where my 503(c) is. $5 for every wreath that's sponsored. That goes into my fund. I just got a report yesterday on how my fund looks. I'm very happy. I started doing the stonework in 22. And my first year I did, in 23, was my first year doing wreaths. And I wanted 400 of them for the city cemetery. And I ended up with 430 something. More than what I asked for. As a past veteran, and I had a few extras, I went to some of the other cemeteries to put these wreaths out on some of my favorite veterans that are out there. And at the end of the day, I left Larwell Lakeview Cemetery, and my wife looks at me and she says, "What is wrong? You look like you're going to have a seizure." And I says, "This was a great day and such success." And I says, "You know, as a first sergeant in the Army, we take care of all of our men and ladies." And I couldn't do that day. And she looked at me and she goes, "Oh my, I know what's going to happen now." And I said, "Next year I want 2,000 wreaths." So I went from 400 to 2,000. And Wreaths Across America actually called me several times. "Is this a typo, a mistake? Did you add a 0 on here by mistake? Or you sure you want 2,000? I said, "I'm doing the whole county."
This is for donations?
Yes.
And so
It's not donations, this is how you can buy a wreath.
260 wreaths, 2,060 wreaths is what I got this year.
But if you,
And in both times, I turned away people, companies,
okay.
because they wanted to donate wreaths. I said, "Come January, go ahead and do it. But I don't need them right now. I have more than I can get distributed." That's why I asked him. I said, if I'd have known, I could have fixed him up.
Right.
So there's no cost to any sort of the municipalities on cost. It's strictly, I mean, the mayor bought wreaths. He bought 5 wreaths because he wanted to as a family. And he wanted his family he brought his family to the ceremony. He was actually part of the ceremony, but he brought his family also to put the wreaths, to lay the wreaths on the graves. And so the volunteers will come out of the woodwork. I mean, you got to go out, and you can ask, but I had schools, I had Marine Corps, I had, I don't know, everybody.
So they would contact you, or in Kosciuszko County, they would contact you? and
Yes.
say, I want to buy X number of wreaths, and you would take care of getting them all ordered?
They actually.
This little slip I just handed you is how you order.
Okay,
You put that little barcode right there in front of your phone, and up will come Reach Across America, and when you come into that, it's gonna ask you, are you giving it to just a donation, or do you have specific people you wanna give it to?
So there's several options, and one of them is called grave specific. This is how I can do wreaths for other counties, is under grave specific, that's exactly what it says it is. I'm ordering a wreath for my Uncle Joe, but Uncle Joe is in Warsaw. They could go in and fill that all out, and it asks you what cemetery, and you're gonna put the cemetery in the section, and there's more information that you really need to put on there. But I just usually ask them to tell me where it's at, what cemetery it's in, and you have to come to the ceremony to pick it up. And my wife, I print out a report, and you can get that information, so she checks it off, because people do get sick, and some people forget. And so I'll track them down and get those wreaths put on the graves for them. So basically, it's up to the individual, we're just giving them the mechanism to sponsor a wreath.
Can I, and you may get to, well, maybe I should let you finish before I've got questions. I'm familiar, I've donated to your
Yeah.
organization, and I used to live in Washington DC, and it's really a big deal in Arlington National Cemetery, and I participated in, putting the wreaths on graves there. And so this is a little different here. What, as a board, for us, would you want, of course, donations, that's obvious, but what else do you need from the board here?
Yeah, I think that's your.
Okay.
For Warsaw,
Mhm.
we just want the approval, so Hal can set up a storage place where they come in, and he can help us. Besides that, we're not looking for any money from the council. We're letting the public do it themselves. I'm gonna try to approach Zimmer, Biomet, I know Lieutenant Colonel that's over there. They have a whole division that takes care of military, so when we need people to work, there you go again, that people. Plus the junior ROTC over here in Warsaw to help out.
Mhm.
So we're just looking for volunteers to lay the wreath out.
Yeah.
So that's all we're looking for, and I think with the media that we've got around there, and the people I know in the media, and we've got a media, like this one right here would be in the paper, and down below here, you can, again, scan with your phone, and it'll come up where, what, how, and who.
And donate.
Yeah, when Bob approached me to begin with, my mind was going thinking, okay, I have to fund this and all this stuff. Basically, in Oakwood Cemetery, let's say it went full tilt. That's over 4,000 wreaths is gonna come to my cemetery.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do we do this? Can you accept that? What, because, of course, he's not gonna go out and buy a forklift or whatever.
Yeah.
It comes on a semi, they come in boxes, basically, and that guy is just there to drop them off, and then they're yours. So Bob and I have talked about it with me, I'm okay with this, that part of it. I was trying to figure out financial. Basically, I have the equipment to take them off, I have the place to store them, and then they would arrange.
But we didn't do it this last Christmas, right?
Bob is just getting set up to do that here in Kosciuszko
Here's
County.
what the boxes look like
Yeah.
when they come in.
I've seen them,
Okay.
And we actually,
I've put them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
my wife has a store downtown Kansas City, so
Yeah, thank you.
we just physically handle, they weigh like less than 40 pounds a box. And
So would
so,
you- I'm sorry, I don't want to get too deep into this, and deeper
Yeah.
than you want to, but are you looking at doing all the veterans' graves?
Well, see, that's what, we talked a little bit before you guys came, that's what I was assuming. Basically, no, Bob's gonna set up, I believe he has to file for this, right, to do it in Kosciuszko County? There's some paperwork on his end, not ours,
Uh-huh.
that he will, so he'll be like the representative of Kosciuszko, if I'm not butchering this wrong. But he'll set up everything, the money goes through them, the extra, nothing with us. He's just saying, hey, can we do it at Oakwood Cemetery is what.
And you have the
Right.
space and then take them down, is that right?
Yes, now, what I told him is, flags, everything like that, if you, in my world, the Legion has tried to put flags out every Memorial Day, okay? The gentlemen are getting older, they can't do it, so they'll hire a Little Tiger Football or some of them to come do it. Problem is logistics and get everybody out there. This year it was like 2 guys.
Yeah.
So my crew, we did
Talking about that.
take them off. We did wind them up. They
Yeah.
came and got it. The guy was gracious enough to buy the guy some pizza. What I'm telling Bob is, we're in. We mount the government, the bronzes for free. I mean, we like to honor our veterans. I have no problem with that.
Of course.
But I was looking at numbers going over, so it's not really, I'm not saying it can't get to 4,000, but I think Bob wants to get it set up so it's in Kosciuszko County,
Yeah.
which we have a ton of cemeteries. Will we work with him? I'm saying yes, but that's why he's here, to make sure you guys are all on board with this too. So financially, no, doesn't mean we can't financially do some donations, but basically, it's gonna be loved ones wanting to honor their loved ones right now. Down the road, if we wanna honor some where the family members aren't around, that's something we can discuss. later on.
That's what I say, the Gold Star families, yeah. There is a place that talks about Gold Star in here. I didn't really read it because I was like, but I know we have a few in the county.
So Bob would be our contact point. He would be the one contacting us, saying, hey, Al, guess what? I've got 1,500 reefs coming your way. Okay.
So the only thing that, in the process, okay, let me just, there is paperwork. Part of that paperwork is getting the permission of the owner of the cemetery, and it's okay to do this. Reese Customer is very conscious about, putting things like that out there. In fact, they actually want you to go out in January and pick them up. And I said, well, we live in Indiana, it's very cold, and first of April, or March, we clean up everything on the cemetery. So we're gonna do it then. But he will need a permission from the owner of the cemetery to file your paperwork.
I was
Because
gonna
they
come
wanna
back.
make sure that you're okay with us putting those wreaths out. Because the other thing you need to think about is the cleanup. We wait till, and just pick up the flags and everything at one time. So we don't quite follow the flag etiquette of Arlington and 2 weeks after Memorial. We just don't have volunteers to do that. So we just wait and do all of that at one time and just clean up.
Yeah, and I'm not, in my cemetery, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
I have a
So-
staff that can do it, trash guys that'll come and pick them up.
Yeah.
I'm okay
And
with
the
that.
other thing is the volume of reeds that you got to, all of a sudden that dumpster fills up pretty darn quick. And so, but that's okay, we've worked with everybody on that, but I just didn't want any surprises. But the owner of the cemetery will have to give, there's a place on there for, they will send you a letter or an email that says, is it okay? And you have to sign your name and send it back. It says it's okay that you're
Yeah, I'll
gonna do.
work with that one.
And
Yeah,
so
but-
it's not, it's just part of the paperwork.
And so basically here was, I wanted my board to say yay or nay, and we're not all here, so I'll have to talk to the other two. But the owner will be Jeff Gross. If you guys agree and you want to do, and I have councilmen here also representing the council, then I will go to Jeff, and Jeff will be the one who'll have to sign that, because he's the mayor. And
Question to you is, I'll bring the paperwork signed. Are you wanting some sort of PowerPoint or just a blurt bottom line up front, if anything's going on for that month?
Currently not now. I mean, we'll wait to see what these people want to do here first. I know Ken's aboard. I've already talked to Ken. Max will talk back. So it's not really a big official vote. We can do that next meeting when we're all here. But if it's a go here, then I'll proceed with Jeff and see what he wants. If the council wants to know more about it, then I'll have you put something together from there in that council meeting. But we'll see how far that has to go. Because right now, there's no financial with us, anything like that. Follow me, it's just basically, hey, Bob's gonna do this for Kosciuszko County. If we get 1,500 reefs brought to us, can we, hold them and then help, which I know my crew will. I will too, personally.
And now, the delivery process, they send you, the trucking company will send you like a 24-hour notice that they're on the way. But in the last few years that I've done it, they always show up Wednesday before that Saturday. Because he's actually dropping off at,
Different
they
places.
go directly to Maine and pick them up. So they're about
Right.
as fresh as you will ever
Yeah.
see. But they give you like a 24-hour window. And so So
We'll
plenty
be-
of time, and,
Yep.
and like I said, I usually put it out there, and we just can't unload, because we store it in my cemetery, where you would not have to necessarily do that. And you could use a full truck just to.
Yeah, we
They're all
have
packed.
skids on hand, all waiting for, and guys, and we have the equipment to move them, you know what I'm saying, to do that. Disposal, so you know, it'll be in March usually, is when we take off the gray blankets that are out there. We normally take off 200. With our gray blankets, so what we do is I put them back in the back field, because some people want to pick them up. I give them a 2-week window, lay them out, and then if they don't come, the garbage truck comes and we throw them all in there and they take them. And I'm sure this would be, we can do this also. I mean, with them, if January is when they take them off,
That's,
normal, we could start, with my guys can do that. I mean, there's all sorts of
it's
options.
just like, you follow the flag etiquette rules.
Yeah,
The week before Memorial Day, you put the flags out, which we do. 2 weeks after Memorial Day, you take them off. Same way with the wreaths, you put them out the week before the Christmas holiday, and about the middle of January, they like for you to take them off. But every time they ask me that question, I just say, this is cold, we take them off during the annual, all the cemeteries are cleaned up, and they're good with that. They just want to make sure that you are aware, not to upset anybody or the owner of the cemetery, that they're going to leave these wreaths out there forever. And
It's in the flag manual, but I also, from what I've seen, the manual that I'll get gives a lot of rules.
okay.
So I'll have to read them and get back to you.
So they're just, Bob is asking
forgot.
basically permission to him to start this. The funding will be all
As
them,
long as
what they do.
you are okay with logistics, I mean, I personally have supported these.
I was just saying, I
since
figured
it's
you
book,
were where you came from.
You know,
Jerry, I know you're not a board member, but what do you think?
I have
I think it's a good idea.
I do have a logistics.
so what he can't figure out, you can?
Yeah.
That's
You're
what-
okay
that's
with
what I
it?
did for the last 19 years when I was a civilian Marine, was I was the S4 officer.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
You can get it figured out, right?
Yeah.
Any questions with you?
No, I think it's a great idea.
We're not really gonna take a vote. I mean, I'd like to know how you feel, and then we'll take a vote next thing when all 4 of you are here. Does it need a vote? Probably not, but we all wanna do it anyway.
Yeah.
To understand,
Sure.
because there's no, like I say, there's nothing, we're not discussing financial, something, we decide to do something, then it'll be a majority vote that have to take that over. So everybody seems to be for this.
I think it's a great idea.
Bob, I think go ahead with it.
Okay.
I'll get a hold of these 2. Max is one that I need to get hold of, but I'm not gonna call him in Maui right now. So when he gets back, and then if it all sounds like a good, I'll approach Jeff, which Jeff is actually in Indianapolis right now anyway. So I'll get a hold of him, and then you give me the paperwork, and if he's all aboard, we'll get it signed and let you get going on it, okay?
I'll get a hold of them tomorrow.
Okay.
Paperwork on me.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
You got a real important meeting.
Hopefully quick. I can tell everybody wants to get out of here, and I'll try to be as quick as I can. Thanks again. Thanks for the info, too.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Thanks
you
for your
guys
work.
coming in.
Do you want this?
Oh, that's for you guys to look at.
I think.
Yeah,
we're-
it's just a sign. She did a good look.
Oh, did you? Okay. I'll pass it down to her.
Okay.
Oh,
This is my own personal.
This is where we put
oh, well, thank you.
Cemeteries, they're working
I'll
cemeteries.
put it on my desk.
mayor,
That's awesome.
So I, kind of, thank you for my crews, and I just kind of advanced.
Well, I think it's a fit,
So I just started.
Well, thanks for coming. Appreciate it. I think
Anything, I'd be happy to help.
No,
you.
I'm one
It's really
per-
kind of painless.
Yeah.
It's not as complicated as, you know,
No,
I've been
it's-
doing stuff- I've done Marion
just
for years.
getting it all set up.
They have so much
That's the hard
resources
part.
to do this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like a huge crowd. I mean, the logistics of that is just
Exactly.
enormous.
Exactly.
But they've done,
Manual, they coordinate, they give you lots of easy ways to make.
yeah, they're
this.
amazing how they
Thank you,
coordinate
gentlemen.
that.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
You
Good
got
work.
everything you need before they go? Perfect. I have some info. In fact, I have media resource too they gave me if you would like it. You're welcome. I'll get to you afterwards. All right, we'll try to get through what we're doing. Let's go into old business, or unfinished business, excuse me. As you see, the first one is the wood giveaway program. Not a ton of loads going on. We still are. I still think it's a worth thing to do, to keep going. Have plenty of wood. We have the time in the winter to do it, so it's something I want to keep going. Every year it kind of changes. Some are bigger than others. This year, well, one, we've had a little warmer weather, so we haven't had as many that have come for loads. I do like it at the Salvation Army. I have some people came in today to get a couple loads with Ken out. They haven't been able to, which is fine. We don't need the voucher as long as we know they need it. It's just, he helps us out with who does need it. So with that, that's continuing. Leanne had put down in 2 in the review, which we'll deal with a little later in your back paper here, because we missed January. If you go in the back 2 sheets, that will be your final for 2024. And basically, 2 things to look at. If you go to burial types, you can see cremations is 46%. That is something that we'll talk about a little bit later and some stuff. It's definitely on the rise. The last 3 years, we've been in the 40%. If you go to the money end, if you look at ground burials, resident, you see that 220. You gotta remember that that was, the Lewis family bought 160 in an area, okay, which also affected that total. Which, just for further, I mean, we had a good year, but that was $80,000 in that. So basically, if you would have broken it down, 40,000 went into general fund and 40 went into PERB. Okay, so of Mike's, Lewis's family's money, just so you know. So it is inflated a little bit. The overall funerals, we're still in the 220s. It's running kind of close to the same, that's where we've been. I mean, the highest we've ever had, I think in my career was 256, you can see there in 2021. But I don't know pace-wise now, I haven't looked at numbers, but I wanted to she had kind of broke that down so you understood percentages a little bit. So any questions there? Cool. New business, basically, as I say, the staff, we're still working on winter projects, believe it or not. Trash cans is a big one. We've made some new ones. We're repainting, redoing those, getting those ready and putting them back out so they look fresh and nice. I have some banner things and different things. Another big project, well, it's not big, but they're starting on is the shop back there is clean top to bottom. And they're starting on that now besides all the equipment that's been cleaned. With that, that'll continue on. A big one is, that I've been working on is cremation 3. Remember that 46%. Cremation 3 is filling up really quick. We're gonna extend it. I'm also in the midst of looking at a new columbarium for ashes. Currently, we have a few left in cremation 2, but those are actually selling pretty quick. Just got a rough price on one, which I've got to call someone just from Patton here locally to get an idea what I'm looking at. In this extension in cremation 3, I want to put an octagon one in. It holds 72 cremains. Currently, a gray one with black fronts, are you ready for this, is $45,000. So now, what does that mean long run? Prices we're charging now, we would still pay for it and have extra, believe it or not. Yeah, this is just a verbal idea, quote. He sent it to me, what I call verbal, because if this goes over that benchmark, then we have to do the bid process. But I had to know kind of what we're looking at. If I purchase one, I'm under the 50,000 and we can do it. But I do want to, just to be a good steward, check with a few other monument companies to see what they are. Be honest with you, an octagon one is what I want, but I don't know because these octagon are 2-door, and I want individual doors because not everybody buys 2. And what happens is on a 2-door, if you have 2 different people and one decides to do a disinterment, then they have to buy a whole another 2-door and have the other one engraved, which is very expensive. I checked on single doors. I can tell you right now, it's not something they want to do because they told me it'd be additional $25,000 to do that. I went, no. So it's, I can tell they don't want to do it. Now, this is one company, one design. There's a ton out there. Like I say, I just kind of got started on this, but I wanted you to understand where I'm going. So basically, that's something that definitely has to be added on this year because we have to have more cremation spots. Another thing we're looking into, actually I got to give Leanne a lot of credit for this. She goes, what about taking a grid out in the cemetery? What we're finding out is a lot of people want to be cremated, but they don't want to be in a cremation garden. They want to be out with everybody else. Okay, so our grids are 20 by 20 grids. They're 8 lots. is how the cemetery is set up. So you have your section, you have your lot, or lot and your spaces. So you have 8 spaces in a lot, so it's a 20 by 20 grid. That one makes 16 if we take out a whole section. Where we could periodically just put some throughout the cemetery where I have room. The problem is, if they fill up, is my mower's getting out of the inside. They can turn and get out, but what happens when they turn, zero turn, then they start to rut. So I'm looking in, I've been drawing and trying to design to figure out if I can take out 2 lots and we can get through without tearing that up, but we'd constantly be fixing the ground, you know, where they would be turning, spinning to get around and get out. It's not any more time for us on the mowers, because we're on mowers, follow me, but it's gonna be some repairs. I mean, getting in between the lots would be the stand-up. So to mow is, I'm not worried about that end, I'm just worried about making those ruts when they turn.
So you would give them a reduced rate because it'd be smaller size?
What's that?
Like if you buried you're talking about burying the cremation remains, right?
Correct. What we did is, when I started, 18 years ago, I designed the cremation 2, like cremation 1. Basically, I poured the concrete, I did everything, they were 2 lots, they were restricted to a certain size of stone.
Yeah.
People want the larger stone
Yeah.
to honor their family.
Yeah.
So what I did, which, if you want to call it an epiphany or whatever, but it actually turned out pretty good, is I developed cremation 3, they're half the lot size of a normal lot.
Yeah.
They can put 3 cremations in and they can have the full-size stone of a single lot. What'd that do for us? Well, cremation 2 cost me, I think, $20-some thousand in concrete, plus I had to put sod in and all this. These, I go out and set pins, we do it in a half a day. I'm selling the lots. The people buy the foundations, they buy the stones. It actually is more of a win-win for us. It's a win-win for them because they can have a bigger stone and it all works.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done that on 2, but I wasn't smart enough at that time, I'm sorry. So basically, it's just me taking a 20 by 20 grid, which is 8 lots, and I can turn, because they're 5 by 5 in the cremation 3, now that becomes 16.
Right.
So it's land that we already have, we can section out and do, and I'm really leaning that way to put a few out. I don't think I'm gonna do a ton, but I'll get a couple set out to do that, because people like to be around their loved ones.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, well, we, like my family, we have plots, and then my parents just got buried in the regular sized plots. Do we do that a lot? I mean,
What's that?
the people that bury their cremation remains in just a regular size.
The city has allowed me, the mayors have allowed me to, on a single lot,
Mhm.
you can have a full body and 4 ashes.
Four.
So 5 people can be on that lot.
Oh, that's interesting.
I, honestly, in the growth we're going to, that 4 cremations could go 6 very easily. The problem is stones.
Oh,
So
right.
I haven't, kind of, say you want to come to the council or the mayor and say, hey, can I do 6? It's a way to save land, because people will buy cremation lots and put 2 on it, it's just a waste of land, follow me? But if I split it, now it's not so bad. Because, I mean, you're gonna run out of land eventually. So, yeah, so they've allowed me to put 5 people on. How that works, so if you have mom and dad and they've passed and they're big stones up, you
Yeah.
can do flush stones in the ground.
Yeah.
That's how they do it, if there's no room on the main marker that we
Yeah.
can put in.
Yeah, or replace the marker.
Yeah, but it's cheaper to
Yeah.
do
Oh,
it.
yeah,
If,
yeah, yeah.
It's gotta be 4-inch granite. Granite is very tough. We put them in rock and concrete, and my mowers drive over them and they don't mess them up at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean,
Okay.
there's a little cleaning now and then, but
Right,
it doesn't hurt them.
Okay.
So, yeah, there can be, like I say, 5 per lot.
yeah.
So this would be, actually in a full lot, you could put 3, it'd be 6 on a full lot.
Okay.
But it'd just be cremains instead of full bodies.
Yeah.
And what we do and tell the people how that works, if the cremation comes first, okay, in a lot, we have a grid system, A being full body, B, C, D, E are the ashes. So if the ashes came in B, we put them in the ground, I put a concrete disc on top of them and put them in. The full body comes, I know where that's at, I can take my probe and hit that concrete. My guys will power dig away, will hand dig to the ashes, take them out, finish digging, put the full body in, then set the ashes back on. That's how it works now, currently. So, yeah, we do use up, and a lot of people do it, they like that if that's cremation, because they can be with grandma and grandpa, our mom and dad. So it does work, but we're just seeing the people that want to be cremated just want to be out more with their families. So we can't do it everywhere because a lot of it's full, but we can out in some of the newer areas. But it doesn't say I have to take a 20 by 20 grid. I have 2 lots I could do it, follow me? Instead of 2, that's 4. I could cut it in half. So there's some options I'm looking at, just so you know. And the big thing is that number that I told you to remember, that 46, it's just on the rise. It just more and more people are being cremated. So, any other questions on that?
Yep.
Cool. The number 5 there, I guess, is where we're at. I've been working with Damien. We're coming up with a couple solutions. We're gonna do a burn barrel for the military, with the Legion and stuff getting down. They're having trouble getting people to burn flags and do stuff. So we put the bell up at the preacher stand on the left. I'm gonna put a pad on the right, and we're designing a burn barrel for them, which now with plasma cutters, we can cut stuff in and make it where they can come out there or whoever, and they can do their ceremonies right out there, and people can drop their flags off and burn them. I think they do it twice a month, don't hold me to that.
That's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, so we're trying to help out a little bit
That's nice.
with that. So Damien's on it, we haven't started it yet, we're just trying to get a game plan. With that, with talking to militaries, there's, with the wreaths and all this stuff, I won't say it'd be my time in the next year or two, I don't know for sure, but we're trying to prepare for this. The Legion and VFW, because of the age, are getting smaller, and so they don't have the manpower. And I got a feeling before long, we'll have to take over the flag program at Oakwood Cemetery. So we'll have to start purchasing flags and putting them in. They're just having trouble getting people to come out. This last year, they had people to get them out, but they had, 2 people had to do quite a bit, and then taking them off was the big trouble. So I got a feeling it's coming our way. And with that, I sat here with Ken. Ken's big into that also. They're having trouble getting enough firing squads to come out and do the funerals. They don't have enough of them to do it. The Lady Auxiliary's been firing. They've been trying to get other people, Sons of the, whatever, the Legion to come out, and they're just struggling. Well, it doesn't have to be a gun salute. It can be a bell. Okay, we've used our bell, the big bell and back. There's some people really like it, want it for their funerals. I think they can hear it out in the cemetery. But I'm currently looking at a cast bell that can be portable.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what that means is when you have a firing squad come out with everybody, that's up to like 10 to 11 people. Okay, for the 7 to shoot, the 2 to fold, the other guy, follow me, is a pretty big number that they can't get. We put the bell out, now that goes to 3. They can fold the flag, ring the bell, follow me, in the 7 times, the 7 rings. So we're working that way, and working with the Legion and stuff. Ken and I are gonna meet with them, and maybe that's something for Oakwood Cemetery I have, so if they can't get enough firing squad, they can do a bell. I want to honor these people, I really do.
If do we have larger American flags in there? We do have like one larger flag. I was just gonna.
You mean the bigger flags?
Yeah.
I fly 3 4x6s and 1 3x5.
I was just gonna, just as an aside, a small FYI kind of thing. So I have a buddy who's in DC who works in the operational part of the Capitol, the nation Capitol. And if you ever want a flag that's flown over the Capitol, we can just, in honor of whatever, get a certificate, get it
Do
tagged.
that?
Yeah,
Fly?
and they'll fly it over the Capitol, and then we could get them. So,
Oh, cool.
so if you ever want something like that, let me know, and I'll get with him, and I can get that for you.
That's something we need to talk to Ken, because he would know,
Yeah,
get him involved.
yeah, I've got a connection for that,
Yeah.
so just FYI.
And
Down the road.
the cemetery buys all. When I first started years back, the Legion was strong enough, they bought the flags.
Yeah.
That we do now. I buy, usually I fly, depending on weather and whatever, usually 2 to 3 a year.
Yeah.
But I also fly the military flags out there too. Those about a couple sets a year also.
Yeah.
With that also, one of the things I didn't get done this last year, but this year is we're gonna get electric out to Legion 3 in those flags, so we can light those up, is what we're
Nice.
gonna do.
Nice.
So I'm working on getting some prices on boring out there to get that set up.
Cool.
With that, in preparation, that was one of them, power out to Legion 3. I'm getting prices on a lean-to put my small equipment stuff, my outdoor equipment in it, just to get it out of the weather. And Mike Bradford will be doing some block walls this year. He's got a couple that I'm gonna have him
That's good
do.
work.
That's kind of the projects for this year. The only thing I don't have, and he should be here, I think, next meeting, is my new supervisor, which is Howard Keister. I'm gonna have him come, just so you know who he is. He's one of my employees, I just made him a supervisor, so he's like my second in command, and so making my life a lot easier, and it's kinda nice. He's taken over, but he had another meeting tonight he couldn't come to, or go to, so he had to come. But other than that, unless you have any questions on financial, we didn't really look at that, or what we're doing. I'm open for questions. If not, we'll say bye. Motion to go bye-bye.
I move we adjourn.
All right, second.
I,
That'll be you.
March the 6th.
March the
Isn't
6th.
that crazy?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is nuts. It is nuts. Let me shut this. Oh,
Isn't somebody leave their phone there?
yes, it's part of the city's phone.
Oh.
It's Jerry Thrush, as he likes phones.
No.